To most listeners, lyrics about nasty car accidents, airplane crashes, paranoid androids, and alien abductions. Not to mention, a sinister-sounding robot declaring that man was little more than a pig in a cage on antibiotics, tended to a general sense of unease about the oncoming 21st century. This quote is taken from a Rolling Stones article about Radiohead's OK Computer album that changed the way music was made and experienced. Radiohead was created in Oxford, England, by 5 friends in 1985. Originally known as On a Friday? Oh, thank God they changed that name. They revolutionized the rock genre in the 90s and early 2000s. With their incredible, recognizable sound, they have become one of the biggest and most influencing bands of all time. No one has been able to replicate their sound, and because of this, there's only one Radiohead. Their sound is so different from the era they were in. While in the 90s you had the grunge and Britpop movement, which Radiohead did take inspiration from, they changed it by adding keyboards and pedals, while also having these sad and mysterious songs with hidden meanings in their lyrics. While the 90s were layered with Britpop's love of being British and grunge's hating of being alive, Radiohead seemed to change the game. While they still had aspects of both, they also talked about other issues in their songs, especially with their album OK Computer, at first thought of as a one-hit wonder with their song Creep, and their second album not being as big as they hoped. Radiohead had to do something. Released in 1997, OK Computer became a classic album. Songs take a look at the thought in everyone's minds, the rise of the computers, and the transition to the 2000s. What also changed was their sound. Still having rock elements, they also went electric, and different ways to play their instruments, which shows the genius that was Radiohead. They also used stuff to make their album sound different from any others on the market, making it their biggest album. But they didn't just want to stop there. After their tour for OK Computer, they suffered from severe writer's block, and didn't want to just stay in their lane. In the 2000s, they came out with Kid A and then Amnesiac, 2 albums that were absolutely nowhere near the same sound as OK Computer. For those that came before it, they had a full electronic sound, fully embracing what they had talked about on OK Computer. A full electronic album that instills more fear, but not of the rise of technology, but of the fall of humans. Songs like Idiotech and How to Disappear are lyrics about women and children in bunkers. The evolution and fall of the human race becomes more and more apparent as you listen. The feeling of dread as the world is getting hotter, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's not just the fall of the human race, but also the feeling of loneliness and depression that comes with it. Tom York suffered the worst of writer's block and depression, saying, "I had this thing for a while, where I was falling through trapdoors all the time into oblivion. It was happening towards the end of OK Computer. I was a complete mess when that cycle had finished." And this can really be shown on the album. The despair in lyrics like Motion Picture Soundtrack, the uneasiness at the start of the national anthem, helps bring the feeling that everyone had at the turn of the century. But Radiohead were not done yet. After the complete shift that they had made with Kid A and Amnesiac, for the next album, they didn't want to take a big leap. They had already proven that they can innovate and change their sound. So why not go back? Hail to the Thief is a mix between the guitar rock of their early days and the electronic of recent years. But it wasn't perfect. So they decided to take a short hiatus from the music scene. And when they came back, they proved why once again no one could top Radiohead by coming out with their hit album, In Rainbows.